Going on here? Okay, all right, cool. All right, here we are. Welcome, and it's April already. April what? 5th or 6th here, depending on where you are. Um, and the incredible drama that we're all, the movie that we all get to see, uh, check it out. We got a major war potentially wiping out the planet. That just one of our episodes. What are the other episodes? Oh, yeah. We're gonna put these little chips under people's bodies, and what else? It's amazing. Isn't it incredible to be alive during this time? Isn't this like the best time in history? I mean, think of all the conveniences. I don't have to get up and turn the channel. Yeah, but before I never even had a channel to turn, and I was pretty happy. Hmm. Anyway, let's not talk about it. Let's get into the question because everyone always says, "Why doesn't he get to the question? I need to get my question answered." And by the way, you don't want your questions answered. You don't want your questions answered. And I want to tell you why you don't want questions answered. Because you can get that from Chat, GPT, you can get that from Claude, you can get that from Gemini, you can get that from any of those guys, right? However, that's not what you're looking for because you're going to be continually on asking questions. Why? Because you don't have understanding. If you have understanding, that'll answer not only that question, but a million other questions. And so that understanding is based on a knowledge base. So let's get a knowledge base. And so we can answer the question. Anyway, so let me find the questions and get started. People don't want to waste your time. I know I got to go ahead. Wait, I know the questions are in here. I've got like so many things on my that are up here. Is that it? No. I'll get to it. Okay, you know what? There we go. Cheap. Okay, now I have them. Okay, cool. So let's get started. First of all, I want to just tell you all the stuff I need to tell you, and that is we stream live here on Sunday nights on the western part of the world and the eastern part of the world. So on Monday mornings, and the platform is that we do the first hour is devoted to answering questions that have been submitted previously, and then the second hour is to questions that arise here during the live stream, and then that's it. And we're on all the social media platforms. So it's just X and TikTok that it's at Dr. Thomas Lodi MD at Dr. Thomas Lodi MD. All the rest is just at Dr. Thomas Lodi with no M. That means Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc., etc. All right, cool. And what else? And we have 3 groups, membership groups, where when you join the group, we meet and we have these meetings like this, but it's they're closed Zoom meetings, and and I just answer everyone's questions and we can dialogue. So if you ask a question I don't understand, did you do this or that, I can ask you and you can tell me. So we can actually get a little deeper and more personal. So we have those interactions weekly, and there's a lot of other things. We've got Darren and Vanessa, they're kinesiologist and nutrition lifestyle expert woman. I've been working with her for a long time. She's amazing. And then of course, people with CFCs have access to Kathy's Corner, which is, forget all the protocols and all that stuff. How do you feel? What's going on inside? And that's where we share that stuff. And it's very private and confidential. So that's Kathy's Corner. And coming up real soon, we're going to have somebody to help us to do a weekly spot with meditation. And then I've got another fellow who's coming on to share, who's an amazing raw chef. And he'll be doing that, sharing recipes, etc. Or showing us how and giving us, discussions on why and all that. So he's amazing. He was a sous chef. I mean, he was a Michelin chef. And then about 2013, when I was opening up this clinic in Bangkok, I met him, and he came over and he learned how to do raw food, and so he's been doing that for 13 years now, and crazy, but delicious, amazing. His name is Garfield, and he'll be joining. And then the fellow who will be joining us for meditation his name is Tenson. He's lived with the Dalai Lama about 20 years and became a monk in India and Thailand. Left the monkhood to get married and have children, but still visits the Dalai Lama often and is his disciple. And anyway, he teaches us all about how to deal with the monkey inside, because that monkey is the problem. It's not this or that or that. It's the monkey, and this monkey will not leave you alone. You gotta tell the monkey. You tell this monkey. The monkey. Here's the thing about him. If anything you need, it's going to help you get there, right? So it's a really good asset. However, if you don't keep it busy, it turns on you and just starts wiping you out. Right? You go crazy. You got to keep it busy. So what you do is you tell the monkey, make me a pole. And then I want you to go up and down that pole till I need you. That pole is meditation. So that's it. Anyway, let's do our thing here. So join the groups so we can get into these things further. And then please like, follow, share this live, and subscribe to our channel so you will receive notifications every time we go live or post new content. Okay. I wonder how many people on planet Earth have said that exact phrase. 1 billion? Okay, so here we are. Let's answer questions. How can I see You guys too. All right, here we go. So first question is from uh Brenda, and the topic is biopsy necessary, and she's saying that my 60-year-old sister was recently diagnosed with stage 4 renal cell carcinoma. It is present in the lungs and liver. The lung biopsy will be done next week. Do you believe this is necessary? Is this curable? Thank you so much. All right. Well, first of all, you already know it's in the lungs and liver. Well, so do they. So they want to biopsy it for what reason? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Aaron. Yay. Thank you. And everybody, you guys are wonderful. You guys are wonderful. Thank you. First of all, you know it's in the lung. So we're going to biopsy it for what? We're going to biopsy it so the guy that does the biopsy can, afford to make his a payment on his Mercedes or whatever. I don't know, whatever. You're not biopsying it for your benefit. There's no benefit. You're going to biopsy something that's in your lung that you already know what it's, Okay. So your lung and your liver, and you've got renal cell carcinoma, according to their vernacular. We're not going to, we're going to get out of this linguistic straitjacket in a moment, but right now I need to use it to help us get there. And that is, so we know it's there. So what are we going to do? They want to confirm that it's there. Tell them to go biopsy their own lungs. Or if it's a male, have him biopsy his left testicle. That's it. All right. And if it's a female, her left ovary. All right. I tell them to do that. I tell them it'd be much better. It'd be so much more fun. Self biopsies. It's amazing. They should start doing that. There should be a new fad amongst surgeons and doctors. They start the self biopsy. How many times have you biopsied yourself this week, doctor? Anyway, so you don't need a biopsy. They want a biopsy, but it has no idea. Yes, happy Easter. But it's not Easter here. It was Easter here yesterday. That tells you what, everybody? Clocks, calendars, and this thing we call time is a mental construct. It doesn't exist. We made it up. Because I want you to tell me any period in your life where it wasn't now. Anyway, so you don't need you don't need the lung biopsy because you already you know it's there. All right. And the answer is, we use the word curable. Now we need to get into linguistics. First of all, renal cell carcinoma is telling you what? It's telling you that it is in that there are chronically fermenting cells going on in the kidney, and usually they call them. I mean, the histological pathological diagnosis is usually clear cell or papillary. And they're considered as subtypes. You realize their language, it's complete nonsense. There's no type of chronically fermenting cell. All cells are chronically fermenting cells. That's what they are. They're not that. So if it starts in your elbow, it's an elbow chronically fermenting cell. If it starts on the tip of your nose, it's a nose chronically fermenting cell. If it's in the ovary, it's an ovarian chronically fermenting cell. So what's different between all those? The location. The same thing is happening wherever it is. All right, we'll get that straight. There's no type of it. There's a cell type. There are different cell types. Like there's a liver cell, and then there's a eye cell, and retina cell, skin cell, breast cell. Okay, so those are the different types. There's no type of CFC. Okay, they say that so that you can be more afraid. Because remember, the idea is to scare you into doing anything they suggest. All right, and that's called the standard of scare. And they are masters at the standard of scare. They will keep you so, and that's why they are. You got to come in for a follow up. You got to come in so we can scare them out of you. That's what they're saying. Why haven't you shown up? We need to scare them. So you'll all keep showing up. All right. That's what it is. All right. Because their goal is to poison the hell out of you. Come on. Aren't you being a little that's not, I mean, my oncologist is actually, really a nice person. Nice person. I see. So your oncologist who continues to poison people. Oh, he doesn't know. All you have to do is be an oncologist for 6 months, a year, 1 year. You know what's going on. You can see it before your eyes. You can watch what happens. It's clear. It's not like hidden. It's right in front of you. It's like, you see that. And so you say to yourself, if you're an oncologist, you say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why is this happening? But they don't say that, right? Because why? They took a Hippocratic oath, right? You know that Hippocratic oath? I will do no harm. But that they forgot the object, I will do no harm. It's supposed to be I will do no harm to my patients. But for them, it was I will do no harm to my career. But that's their Hippocratic. Anyway, here's the thing. So is it curable? That means you have a disease, and there's no such thing as diseases because we've gone through this 1,000 times. What we're talking about as being diseases are physiological adaptive responses to maintain functional integrity. It's called homeostasis, right? And so there's 3 fundamental kinds of homeostasis. There's biomechanical. Someone pushes me, my left leg goes out to keep me steady and I don't fall. That's a biomechanical homeostatic response. All right. Physiological, I'm eating what is it? Lots of cheese and pizzas and burgers and whatever. And I get some plugged up arteries, right? And there's a decreased flow to my, so got to do what? You got to increase the pressure. It's called high blood pressure. That's not the only cause of high blood pressure. Okay. But because if you look up high blood pressure, what are you going to find? You're going to find there's some renal causes. They've got these like 10% have these specific causes. Yeah. And those are real, absolutely real. You got a problem with the kidneys, those are real. But 90% are what they call essential hypertension. And essential hypertension means we don't know why it's there. Well, we know, you and I know, we know why. And you know how you know why? Because I'm going to tell you something. Stop eating for a while. Do a water fast or do a juice cleanse. You know what's going to happen? You're going to have to throw away your high blood pressure medicines. Otherwise, your blood pressure is going to go too low. Why is it going to go too low? Because without taking them, it'll be at a very nice, happy, normal, healthy reading. It's good try. And so if it goes away when I stop eating for a while, does that mean it might be related to the eating? Oh my God. What a revelation. Anyway, so there's no disease, there's no thing that got into them called hypertension. What it is what? The body responding to the fact that we are what are hybrid mutants. hybrid mutants who have been infected with the linguistic virus. And that linguistic virus has taken over our cognitive functions. And with that language, it's like putting on, glasses. You can only see this. So anyway, you gotta understand that. They change our language. There's no disease to be cured, so we don't use that. What do we say? The body's engaging in it's adapting to the fact that blah 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 blah. So what are we gonna do? We gotta make sure that adaptation is no longer required. So our goal, our pathway, is to clean out all the garbage and get back to health, physiology, restore physiology, restore health. That's our goal. Our goal is not to get rid of anything. See, they've got you on this impossible journey. The impossible journey. Come to disease land. Forget Disneyland. This is in Anaheim too, right? Okay, right next to it. Come to disease land and go on the impossible journey. Yeah. That's it. Let's do it, right? And just to make it more fun, we're going to scare you to death while you're on that ride. It's one of the best rides we have here at Disease Land. It's called the Impossible Journey. Yes. Look, I'm looking at you guys' questions. You're not even listening. You don't even care what I'm talking about. You don't even care. It's insane. You are so entangled with the Rockefeller linguistic virus. You can't get out of it. You can't stop. Look at you. You're making comments that are Rockefellerian. You're in there. You can't get out of it. Methylation and symptoms and foot baths and deworming and what? What are you doing? What are you doing? You guys, what are you guys doing? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody? Are we talking about things that you're going to take that are going to cure you? Is that what we're talking about? You got to go to another live stream, or you got to go to another group, because that's not what we're talking about here. I'm not going to play that game. I'm not for anything. And I don't care if people leave and they don't like it. It's okay, you don't like it. Okay, fine. Then go jump into the get on the death train. You like the death train? All right, go to the death train. All right, go to the death train. Go there. But if you guys want to get on the health train, you want to get back to health, let's do that. All right, let's get healthy. All right. My gosh, it's unbelievable. I've been doing this a long time. Well, I've been practicing medicine for 40 years. If you add psychology on it, that gives me, maybe 45 years. I've been working with people in a clinical sense. And that's it. Nothing changed. Nothing with an N-O thing changes. Why? Because they got you. They got you. I think it might mean, I think I should get a retreat somewhere, and you should come there, and we got to give you like massive doses of LSD to crumble who you thought you were, and to crumble all that stuff. To crumble your mind. Forget all that nonsense, and let's start over again. Let's get on the reality road. You want reality TV? Let's have reality life. Reality life is none of this nonsense. All right? The Impossible Ride. You guys like that, right? There you go. Look. Can't help it. Stop. Stop. Guys, you're stuck. Unbelievable. Oh my God. Yeah, mushrooms are cool too. Yeah, take enough psilocybin. I remember in Hawaii one time when we were picking mushrooms. This is way back in the 70s. Yeah. Uh, on the Big Island, and there's I mean, so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we were just walking around picking mushrooms, rinsing them off. I mean, washing them off a little bit because they grow out of cow dung. Anyway, did that, and we're eating them and eating, and then pretty soon you start laughing, and it's pretty wonderful. But one day I came home and they had had a bunch in a bowl, and I hadn't eaten all day because I only eat once a day. So I got home and so I just grabbed a handful. I was on my second handful. I realized, what am I doing? And I went someplace that I mean, I was fine. I just I went to a place where I knew everything, and it was completely boring. Anyway, so uh okay, I'm gonna answer you. Remember, I'm gonna answer your question. I owe it to these people here to finish their questions. Okay. So anyway, what I want to tell you, Brenda, is this. Um, there's no such thing as cure or none of that. What your sister needs to do, and you need to do it with her, and both of your spouses need to do it with you, is get rid of all the garbage. You got to go to, and I say this every week. If you join, and now you and or your sister should join the, well, your sister for sure, if she wants to. I don't know. Now your inquiry is based on your is regarding your sister. My question is, does your sister even care? Does your sister want to know? I mean, is your sister like oriented this way? Because that's really important. I'm glad you are, but is your sister? And if she is, she should be here. I hope she's here listening to me. All right. And so the thing is, you got to do is so to realize you don't have this thing. There's no thing, right? When we talk about renal cell carcinoma, we're talking about either clear cell or papillary cell. They're both right at the part in the kidney that gets like all the filtering goes through there, kind of like the little funnel. It goes right through there, and all the stuff goes through that you're eating, that you have that's in your blood, and all that stuff comes through, and it's pretty funky, right? And over time, it gets it knocks out the mitochondria because it's dirty, and the mitochondria are vulnerable. So think about it, too, you guys too. Think about this. That stuff that's going through there comes out of either your urethra, whether you have female or male. It comes out of your urethra, and it's called urine or pee. And it just came out, was clean, filtered. It's all this junk that you don't need. You're gonna drink that. So the kidneys are listen, the kidneys keep a delicate pH. They make sure that the pH remains what it is, between 7.35 to 7.45. It maintains the sodium at a really small level, and the potassium and in other words, making sure it's very, very, very meticulous work. But it forgot these really healthy things and they fell through. I don't understand that. I mean, just teleologically, I'm just you know, yeah, people have had good results from it. I've seen that. I saw something. I've seen, yeah, yeah. But I'm just not interested in my waste products. Anyway, so but anyway, that's where it's occurring. And each of those can be called papillary or clear cell just based on how it looks under a microscope. But that's all they're talking about. So it's chronically fermented. All right, and it's moving around the body. Oh, that's what's going on. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to make sure that process no longer needs to happen. And so what do? We clean up our body because why? Because her urine is going through there, and let's make sure that urine doesn't have any junk in it. How do we make sure it doesn't have any junk in it? So we do a good fast cleanse, all that stuff. We go to a biological dentist. Make sure everything's fine, and then we eat only human food, and we start living healthy. So the only one way to achieve health, and I hope health is our goal, and our goal is not to get rid of anything. Our goal is to restore health, be healthy. And there's only one way to get healthy. There's only one. There's not two. There's not 2.5 or 1.5. There's one. And the way to find health is to live healthy. It's a secret. I don't want you to tell anyone because we got to keep this a secret. No, it's not a secret. Let's shout it on the rooftops. The only way to be restored to health is to live healthy. There's no other way. You can't buy it. You can't negotiate it. You can't demand it. You can earn it. Period. 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 All right. So let's do that, Brenda. You get your sister and join the group, the HFCFC group. All right. So we can talk and get into her details with her. All right. Next one is Eden. And this is Eden Man. Wow, wonderful things. She wow. So I've been with, let's see, one of the original Facebook members to join, and I've received, wow. Thank you so much, Eden. I'm so happy you've been hanging out with me for all this time. All right, and then you want to hear, and then you've got this problem. And I'm gonna have to, let's see, I've got to figure out a way to, because I have to have this up for for Instagram. Okay, here we go. All right, so I've come, and you're amazing. Thank you so much. Wow. I've come to a place now in my wellness journey, however, that does provoke me to inquire about next steps, and I'm just not sold on recommendations I've been given as far as all the kinds of testing in the form of CAT scans and mammograms for observation of my condition. I have Lynch syndrome, and I'm a 34-year-old woman with hypothyroidism. I'm 65 inches tall, weigh 125, and only need to take stimulants for ADHD and Synthroid for my hypothyroidism. I was orphaned, and at 22, when my mom died of the effects of chemotherapy and radiation, she took to treat her CFCs in her lungs that spread to her brain. She was 51 at the time. She died. My dad died just 5 months after my mom, at the age of 6, from the effects of chemo that he took for his colon CFC. The Lynch syndrome comes from my dad's side family. Both sisters have had polyps removed, and they're bad. My grandfather died of esophageal CFC. My mom's side scares me more, however, because for the last 150 years, all the mom and grandmother died of CFCs in their 40s and 50s, with one living to 60. My sister, who is 38, has already had her thyroid removed due to CFCs. And with me having Lynch syndrome, I know it's nothing to play. However, some of the recommendations on frequent surveillance stories worries me for obvious reasons. What would you recommend I do for this situation? I'm more than happy to schedule a consultation with you and establish care for better options, surveillance. When and if I get diagnosed, I plan to do that. Do that anyhow. If again I am a candidate to do so, I would like some recommendations on where to get my dental work done. And I have pretty small, however, I've had several root canals with crowns. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, you're very welcome. And please listen carefully. Yeah, you should schedule. We need to talk. A couple hours. But and you can do that at hello@drlodi.com. hello@drlodi.com. But and join the CFC group for sure. Even though, yeah. And I'll tell you what, we meet twice a week. Then you might not even need to schedule an appointment if you join them. Anyway, so yeah. So let me tell you. Okay, so Lynch syndrome. It's one of the true situations where CFCs are related to genetics. All right. So, another one is the BRCA. So, and what they both have in common is when cells are dividing and the DNA divides, just by the mechanics of it, there are, kind of like pieces that break off or something like that. And so there's these repair enzymes that come in and repair it, right? And so in both cases, there's a loss in one or a couple of the enzyme, and so the repair mechanisms are not that good. But however, keep in mind that it's autosomal dominant. So an autosomal dominant inheritance means that one parent had it. So if both parents had it, then both chromosomes would have it. But one parent had it, so the other chromosome's fine. Now, and so that's why they don't say for sure it's going to happen. They say you have a 80% chance of developing CFCs in your life. Okay, well, great. So does everybody else on the planet. In fact, if you're in the UK, you have a 50% chance of getting. And 1 out of 2 people will get it. Period. In America, 1 out of 2.5 will get it. Period. So, what are we going to raise that risk? Okay. So the point is this: what do we need to do? We need to make sure that everything else is working perfectly. That's what we need to do, and it won't happen. All right. But what's happened is you've already been poisoned psychologically, linguistically. You've been poisoned. Because I know you wrote if and when, but that means if and when. That means, I get this. You're already planning to get it. That's the thing. You've got to remove that. And that might be a weekend with some really strong LSD. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but someone that can lead you on it, because what that'll do is it breaks you out of your everything. It eliminates all of that stuff that's not I. And the unqualified I, and I mean unqualified is not that I, the woman, I, the mother, I, the sister, I. When you get down to I, that's what it does. LSD takes all that away. Then you're just I. And now what happens naturally is, as it goes on, is it starts to reassemble. And as it reassembles, you're witnessing. And you're able to now understand the constituency, of what this will, once it's reassembled, what will you have? You have that personality that's you. And then of course the physical characters. But what it gives you is a place to be it's a place to rest your awareness and consciousness that's not in that game. Okay. And that when you come out of that, that's your chance to change your language. And so you never use that word again. Lynch syndrome. Because if you read the literature, they talk about how do we treat Lynch syndrome? Well, they just told me that Lynch syndrome gives you a predisposition to colon CFCs, to uterine CFCs, and then, you name it, lung, doesn't matter, all of them. So there's no Lynch syndrome is not treatable. What does that mean? It manifests in all these different ways, and anyway, it's all just garbage, and it's cobwebs of horror. that are they've got you in a straitjacket. You've got to get out of that. Okay. You don't have this syndrome. What you have is you've got, I mean, if they're, you know, if they did their science correctly, then you've got some enzymes that are not quite working or not there. That's it. But you got a billion other enzymes. All right. And you get healthy and those won't matter because the nature of nature is to survive. The nature of nature is to go around. You throw a rock in the river and the water goes around it. You're not going to stop it. You can throw a really big boulder. The water is going to find a way. And if you completely block it up, it'll evaporate and go out of there. That is, the water is going to keep moving. Remember Bruce Lee. He liked water. You know, be like Bruce, you know, that guy, you know, human. I mean, I'm not sure if that dude was human. But be like water. Anyway, understand that you're not going to stop biology. You're not going to stop nature. Nature is the way it is. All right. So, anyway, so what do we need to do? Let's clean out. Right. And with this situation going on with you, with these actual genetic things. Now remember, so there's no CFC gene. There's no diabetes gene. There's no, because that would be insane. You see what we're talking about with Lynch and we're talking about with BRCA is that the enzymes are repairing DNA. That's what it is. It's not, that's it. Okay. It's not something, it's enzymes are repairing DNA. All right. So here's for sure what I would recommend. Biological, I don't know where you live, but the best in the world is a lady by the name of Dr. Emma Abramayan. She's in Glendale, California. Emma Abramayan. The best in the world. If you're anywhere near there, and if you're not near there, go there anyway. But if not, go to the IAOMT, which is the organization, International Association of Medical Toxicology, oral and medical toxicology. I can't remember what it is, but IAOMT. Go to that website and find one near you that is certified, not just a member, certified. And that's your best chance of finding the right one. But I personally go to Dr. Emma. Anyway, you get that done and you do I'm not sure how well you're living your life, how healthy you are. And this is something to keep in mind. If you've been very toxic and all that, and you've had a toxic lifestyle, don't start with a water fast. Start with a juice cleanse and just drink 3 to 4 liters a day, quarts a day of fresh juice, you know, celery, cucumber, kale, spinach, and then whatever else you like, lemon, apple. If you don't want the apple, put in pineapple, whatever, to make it delicious. I want you to look forward to it and don't worry about that little extra natural carbohydrate that the body needs. Because you remember that we have 3 macronutrients, and they are amino acids, fats, and carbohydrates. The amino acids, what they call proteins, is amino acids. We don't need proteins, we need amino acids. Amino acids are the constituents, the building blocks of proteins. All right. But we only need 9 of them, not all 20. So we don't need the protein, and we can't eat it. If we eat a protein, we got to break it down into its amino acids. So we need amino acids. We don't need protein. Period. You know, everything they've told us is bullshit. It's a lie, and it's confusing. And we're running down the wrong road, we're running down roads that they paved the road, and they told you go run down that road and chase this thing that's not there. And we're okay, and we do it. All right. So we deserve what we get. Stop being stupid. Wake up. And how do you wake up? Stop using their language. It's the only thing you do. As long as you use that word cancer, as long as you use that word prognosis, treatment, remission, you're dead. All right. I'm going to get tested to find out if I have, you're dead. You're on channel 5, go to channel 7, you'll be fine. That's all I'm saying. You go to channel 7 and you won't be dead. You're going to be happy and you're going to have a beautiful life. Okay, so Lynch syndrome is another one of their scare tactics. It's the standard of scare. All right, and they got you. Now, what's going on with your mother's side? I don't know. I don't know. We'd have to talk about that. But it doesn't even matter because all that matters is you right now. That's it. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying it's not the issue. The issue is you being healthy and ensuring that you don't develop problems in that area. All right. So you do the juice cleanse for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever. Get your colon clean, either doing daily and salt water enemas or colonics twice a week, or you can do it and do some vigorous exercise for 10 minutes about every 90 minutes. Jumping jacks and push-ups and biking and light weights, whatever, 10 minutes. And then go back to doing what you're doing all day. Go to bed by 9. Stop eating. If you're 30 or under, 3 hours before sleep. 40, 4 hours. 50 and above, 5 hours before sleep, you stop eating. And you go to bed at 9. And you can eat within a 4 to 6 hour window so that you're not eating at least 18 hours a day. And you're going to learn how to turn the monkey off by sitting quietly for 2 minutes only, listening to your breath without thinking about anything else. Try it. It won't work. You'll last 3 seconds. That's okay. As soon as you realize it, get back. I'm just asking you to do 2 minutes, 5 times a day, religiously. And eat real food. That's it. And then, especially in your situation, we want to have you do that. Then we want to set up and do a water fast. And if you can do a prolonged water fast, right? A prolonged water fast. And by the way, my book will be out. I finished it. It's just getting it out there. Now, fasting, kind of fast, therapeutic fasting. Okay, so a prolonged water fast, and any CFCs that are there will be gone. So if you did that once a year, kind of thing, that's your vacation. And guess what else you get? You get incredible clarity. Your aging slows down almost to a halt. Everything becomes extremely and highly functional. Yeah. You see better, you hear better, you have fun, you're optimistic, everything But you got to it's high level sorcery. You've had a curse put on you. You've got to have that removed. And that's easy. Just change language. All right. Next person is Andy. Pancreatic. Oh, by the way, so yeah, Eden and you join the groups or let's have a consult so we can really take care of this. Because I don't want you to. They got you, and I don't want them. I want to get you out of that. Okay. All right. Now, this is Andy and pancreatic CFCs. Why are you using that word? Andy, can I ask you a question? Do you really believe that there's an astrological sign in your pancreas? And why is it Cancer? Why are you sure it's not Virgo? And could it possibly be Capricorn or Leo? So stop using that stupid word. Okay, so how is it in the body tail of the pancreas metabolically different than other CFCs, given that it's an organ that produces insulin and can be metabolically flexible. Okay, you're thinking in their paradigm. Okay, first of all, it's not metabolically different than any other place where CFCs are occurring. Remember, the only difference between CFCs anywhere is where they are, the location. It's still fermentate. That's it. It's fermentation. That's what it's aerobic glycolysis. It's fermentation in the presence of oxygen or without the presence of oxygen. That's what it is. If it's in your elbow, your pancreas, your ovary. Okay, so got that. Okay. So you're absolutely right. There is no difference. All right. You're right, Andy. Susanna, kidney tumor. Hello, doctor. What can I do for a kidney tumor before I have surgery to remove it? Thank you. Well, that's the usual treatment that's recommended is surgery. And they usually do what's called a partial nephrectomy, where they take out part of one of the kidneys. Um, all right, so your question's a good question, because when you have surgery, well, when you have surgery, there are several mechanisms by which it spreads. And so what you need to do first of all is you got to do it, and you might not even need the surgery. So you got to understand that you got to be open to that possibility. Okay, open yourself to the possibility you might not need surgery. Okay, right. So you got to get that biological density. So you're just listening 3 minutes ago, so you heard what I was saying about that. Okay, number two, you got to do get on your juice cleanse immediately. So those kidneys, have them filtering out nice stuff, so you're not contributing to you're not going to have an ongoing production of this stuff. Okay. Um, and yeah, so basically, if you do that, uh, and then if you have you have the inclination, like, I don't know, your lifestyle, what it's been and all that stuff, but you could do like a 2-week juice cleanse and then eat really healthy for like another 2 to 3 weeks. And then let's do a prolonged water fast and let's get into that thing. They go away. You have to understand, when I've led people on 41-day water fast, it's gone. They're gone. And then if it was metastatic all over the body, they're gone. And there's no other way to do that. It's molecular surgery. In the hands of the most skilled. Why do I say that? Because the hands are divine. The hands of divinity is going to do your surgery. Yeah, that's how it works. Now, oh, come on. Wait a minute. Where is it? How come I can't see? Come on. I can't believe how lucky we are to live in this world with all this technology. We're the luckiest generation on earth ever. Yeah. luckiest generation on earth ever, right? Because we have all this technology. Yeah. What? It's destroying my biology. It's wiping out my immune system. Well, you know what? That's the price you got to pay for convenience. And how do we define convenience? Convenience is something that allows you to not do something. It's convenient to take an elevator because I don't have to walk. It's convenient to have remote control so I don't have to get up. Convenient. We call that's convenient? No, no. What's convenient is that you don't have an elevator and you do walk up the stairs. So why? So that you stay strong, so that you have good core body strength, so that you can live a nice, healthy life. It's rather inconvenient to become an atrophied, drooling scroller sitting on your chair, eating and watching screens. That's inconvenient because you're not going to be around too long. And plus, it's really not fun. As fun as you think it is, it ain't fun. Fun is out there in the world, getting out on the planet Earth. It's a fantastic gift we were given, an incredible, beautiful planet. But you know, I got to tell you something. Children now don't go outside. They're playing with stuff. And anyway, you all know. You know what I'm saying. Okay. So Susanna, you clean it up, and you may not have to. If we do a full prolonged water fast, again, I've seen it, but you have to understand this is a journey. You're on a journey, and you're not going to see results. It's not like you got a headache, you take ibuprofen, that's gone in 30 minutes. It's not like that. All right. It's your body has adapted over time, and it's not going to just unadapt that quickly. So if you're looking for, I took that and it didn't do anything. If that's your mind, your state of mind, then you're going to just be disappointed all the time. It's a process, and you have to know that the process works. All right. So, but the fast track is water fast. I mean, I'm just telling you, if I haven't, if I'd only studied it and read about it, and I never saw it unfold, if I never saw somebody with widely metastatic CFCs have a completely clean scan. If I never saw that, if I never saw a paraplegic, a quadriplegic get up and walk again, if I didn't see those things, then I wouldn't be saying this. So not only does it make sense physiologically, biologically, physiologically, but it's real. I've seen it. Anyway, but the biggest thing is, you know what? You're not going to get anywhere if you can't shut the monkey down. Okay? That monkey is a genie. That monkey will get you anything you want. But if you don't keep it busy, it's going to turn on you. And that's why people who go to prison would rather stay in general population where they get beaten and raped every night. Rather do that than be in the solitary confinement alone with the monkey. You understand that? All right, so actually, I'm kind of friendly. I'm good friends with my monkey. Um, but I need, but the monkey knows that I'm, the monkey knows that I can get away anytime. So, and the other thing is too, I don't believe the monkey. That's the big thing. If you don't believe the monkey, then the monkey has no power. You know, the monkey can say anything. I look at it. I, I know it's not true. You know, that's the other way is knowing. So then you can just watch the monkey. Anyway, these are techniques, but for you, it's very important, and for everybody. You know, when I remember remember, there's only one of us in the universe. We have all kinds of faces and stuff like that, but there's only one of eye. There's only one eye because my eye is your eyes. What did God say when Moses said, "Hey, who am I? I'm going to go down there with these 10 commandments, and what am I? Who am I going to tell? Where am I? Who am I going to say I got these from?" The answer: I am that I am. I mean, what are we talking about here? Okay. There's only one of us in the universe. So remember that, you guys. Okay, let's go. All right, so now we're going to start answering questions that come up because it's yeah. Okay, so let's answer the questions. We're going from the submitted to. Okay, so here's Brad. I recently completed the 6-day water fast, ended up breaking it because my energy levels were down and I had lost 16 pounds and was a little worried about losing too much weight. I'm 6'1", dropped to 150. My goal is to do at least 10 days. Should I try to put on weight next time before water? Um, up, wow, where did that go? Okay. So Brad, so I'm not sure why are you just generally a healthy guy and you're just trying to optimize your health by doing a water fast. But anyway, so let me just tell you, it no 6 days. So here's the thing. Um, somewhere around days 3 to 4, well, there's a okay, so what's happening metabolically is this. Metabolically, you're transitioning the first 3 to 4 days from a reliance on external fuel, which is food that we eat, to reliance on internal fuel, which is fat that we break down, or muscle. And during that transition, it's very difficult because ghrelin, the hunger hormone, goes up, and yeah, and leptin, which is the sense means I'm satisfied hormone, is not there, and insulin's going down, and glucose is going down, and it's just like the alarms are on. Now there's a period there where there's a like 3 to 4 days. Sounds like that's what you were experiencing on day 6, and so that really, the way the fast progresses depends on how you were eating previous to. Um, there's a period in there, and that sounds like where you were, where you've exhausted all of the extra because your body's used up all the glycogen, which is stored glucose in your liver and muscles, and yet it hasn't fully uh, optimized the usage of the glycerol and ketone bodies, which is when you break down fat, you get glycerol and ketone bodies. So you haven't quite, it hasn't gotten to that. It hasn't quite optimized its ability to do that. So it's there, so you're kind of there, but that's okay. Now the other thing that happens is when insulin's going down, you start losing sodium, and so you got to put salt in the water. And you can do this twice a day. Uh, you get like half a teaspoon, half or a teaspoon of some sort of really good sea salt, not table salt, but sea salt, Himalayan. There's different kinds. And you put it in water, like a half a glass or a glass, stir it up, and you drink it. And oh, wow, someone turn on the lights. It's amazing. It's amazing. Um, Also, during that period, just take frequent naps, like every hour or so. If you're just tired, just take a 20, 30-minute nap, drink that salt. Like, get through it. You'll get through that and you come out the other end. You got to know that you're okay. And that's why in the book that I'm giving I'm writing, I wrote a manual, which will tell you what, things you need to get, like a blood pressure cuff, and how to evaluate yourself to, and what to do, how water to use. And it's a very detailed manual on how to fast safely and comfortably and with confidence at home. And yeah, alone, no, it's really better if you can do it with a friend who's doing it with you, or at least a friend who comes over every day, and even if they're not, doing it. But it's good too, that can help you. It's really good if you had a someone was good at IVs, because if there ever came a point during the fast that you just didn't want to drink water anymore because it's pretty boring, you either better drink water or quit the fast, or have someone give you an IV of, say, normal saline, which is just salt. But anyway, that's that. So anyway, you could have gone through it, and don't worry about losing weight. When you lose weight quickly, it's the water. You can't lose fat quickly. Now, when you're doing a fast, keep this in mind too. When you're doing a fast, and you get past day 3, you've exhausted your stores of glucose. Now your body still needs glucose, but the brain hasn't yet uh, joined the party. Uh, your body's going to make glucose either from fat or muscle. So if you're just sitting around, your body's going to think, well, that muscle's not necessary. But you engage it. You do some exercises, movements, right? You do a few air squats. You walk. You do a little jump rope. You get some really light weights, or you just get some light weights and just hold them. That tension is telling the body, I'm in use. I'm in use. Don't eat me. Don't eat me. Okay. Wall sits, right? You sit against the wall. Just tension. Get down on the ground and just hold yourself up. Don't do a push-up. Just hold yourself up and just sit there. That's tension. These muscles they're giving messages to the body that don't use this. And that way your body will use fat, and you'll burn fat instead of muscle. After day 10, it all goes away. You don't have to worry about, 'cause by day 10, after day 10, the brain kicks in, and you stop. Gluconeogenesis goes way down. Anyway, this will all be explained. So anyway, that's the story for you. All right, so Henry, I'm a male with a breast CFCs. What protocol would you recommend? Same as everybody else. And again, so please, Henry, understand that there's nothing unique going on. Except what? Except the location in a man. That doesn't happen often. That's all. But what's going on is the same thing that's going on in the guy with prostate, pancreas, and the girl with ovarian. Same thing's going on. They're called uh, chronically fermenting cells. It's just they're occurring in different locations, and that's all. So we need to do the same thing. So please keep that in mind, and that is, um, uh, you understand? Oh wait, someone's what is this saying? Somebody's posting. Arizona's examiners included case regarding boundary violation over prescription. Oh wait, yeah, let me actually answer that. The boundary violation over prescription to my fiance who was dying of CFC. And I didn't want her to be in the hospitals. So I had my house was turned into an ICU. And she had gone the conventional way. And what did they had done? They had removed her breast, irradiated her. She developed pulmonary effusions. She developed uh, a cardiac tamponade. We had to actually go through her chest and open up her she had to have a cardiac window put in. She had cardiac tamponade, which meant her heart was. So she had all that, and her lymph nodes were gone. Her arms were swollen up. She was in extraordinary pain, so she was on medication. Yeah, we had her on medication. I had her on pain. Nothing else I could do. She couldn't even talk. So my house was an ICU for 6 months. I finally, she got sicker than I couldn't handle it. Put her in the ICU, and she died. Yeah, that's the story there. If you want to know the story there, all right. What else do we have? Oh, and by the way, they were worried that I might have been taking the Dilaudid myself, so they had me see a professional substance abuse guy. And what did he say? He got my hair, he got my hair, my urine, and then he had a 2 hour uh, session with me, and he told the board, this guy doesn't use drugs. Anyway, so yeah, that's the story behind that. So whoever's trying to harm me, why? Why don't you go take care of yourself? If you want to do anything good for the community, go do something good for the community. All right. All right. So it's crazy. I don't understand why people. I don't understand. If you don't like me, don't join. Don't come on here. But yeah, that was a bummer. That was a bummer. I tried to actually. I couldn't believe that she wouldn't. I couldn't believe that I couldn't help her. I tried to. We were actually trying to get her to fast, and then sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and she was gone, and I found out she went to. I forget there was some Mexican burrito place that was open all night, and she couldn't do it. And I get it, and not everybody can do it. Um, and then when someone can't do it, you've got to honor them. But that doesn't mean you should go get poisoned and be better off to do nothing. Because you see what happened to her, and you can see what happened to other people. It's it's evil. Huh? Amazing, amazing. Imagine spending your life. Okay. Oh, the name of the book is. Let me see. Okay, it's gonna come out any day. I mean, just what's the name of my book? It's called therapeutic fasting. Gosh, I want to give you the exact name. Uh, oh, I know how to find it. Yeah. Go here, and then I'll go here, here, and then I'll go here. And it's called, oh God. It's called Therapeutic Fasting, a clinical manual for metabolic reset and renewal. Therapeutic Fasting, a clinical manual for metabolic reset and renewal. All right, it'll be worth it. You'll like it. It's everything you wanted everyone to know. And then the other book is coming out later. The other book, I'll finish that when I'm done with this. I'm starting to finish that now. But that's everything you ever want to know. I go through the history of everything. It's really complete. It's gonna be like the definitive book on fasting. I even talk about what is water actually. Because we're all water fasting. Well, what is it that we're fasting on? What is this stuff? Hmm. And if you study what water is, you're blown away. It's a mind blow. Yeah. Okay. So, uh, here we go. Let's ask another question. Christine, replying to Brad Campana, what is CFC? Chronically fermenting cells. What the Rockefellers and all of their buddies uh uh have to call cancer. Okay. So a tumor, the cells in the tumor are fermented. That's what they're doing, and that's why they're different than other cells, because other cells are they're the glucose and oxygen are the glucose goes into the mitochondria where there's oxygen, and they make energy that way, a lot of energy, very efficient. But in a tumor, the cells are fermenting. They're not going through the mitochondria. So that's it. So they're chronically fermented cells. That's what they are. Okay. Now here's Heather. Please help me. What would you do if you were told they found a tumor in your stomach? What actions should be taken? Okay. Heather, I hope you've been listening this whole time today. Because that was already answered. First of all, you need to know that. All right. If you can avoid a biopsy, please. If you haven't had a biopsy, don't use it because it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. There's no what they claim is that if they take a biopsy and they look at it under the microscope and they can get this histological, in other words, the microscopic anatomy, then they can uh they'll know what treatment to give. In other words, they'll know what chemos, and that's simply not true. Because if you look at uh, the book that the oncologists use, uh, it's uh, it's a here. Let me show you. Here, see this book here. All right. It's a, all right. Okay. And this book has all the chemotherapies. And so you look at, for example, it'll tell you, so you look for stomach. It's called gastric. Let's look up gastric and see what they're going to give us. What they suggest. This is what they say if you have gastric. Here. Okay, gastric CFCs. We're going to give 5-FU, leucovorin. That's one protocol. And the radiation therapy, then 5-FU and leucovorin again. Now, another protocol is sepsidabine, which is basically oral 5-FU, and oxaliplatin. Okay, platinum. It's a platinum. Okay, oxaliplatin. And then another protocol is docetaxel, cisplatin, and 5-FU. Okay, then another one is cisplatin and 5-FU. And another one is cisplatin, oxaliplatin, 5-FU. Cisplatin, sepsidabine. Oxaliplatin, sepsidabine. Okay, now let's look over at colon. I don't know. You want to just check out colon? And you'll find out it's same thing. And you want to look at breast? Let's. Where's colon? Come on, colon. Well, here's cervical paclitaxel, which is kind of like it's a taxane, and cisplatin, which is like oxaliplatin. And then and also 5-FU. This is for cervical. Yeah, very different, right? 5-FU and cisplatin. Instead of oxaliplatin, it's cisplatin and 5-FU. Right. So we were talking about stomach. Now we're going to talk about. God. And breast is the same. Colon is the same. Esophageal is the same. It's all the same. So you don't need a biopsy. The biopsy is not going to help you. It's going to help them because it's going to make. Because remember, the AMA started as a union in 1850s. All right, it started as a union to support. So when you got a case, and you're a case, by the way, you're not a human being anymore. You're a case. And they need to put a label on you. They need to diagnose it. The only way they can do that is to get the biopsy. But we got to make sure the plumbers and the electricians and everyone's getting paid. So it's got to go to pathology. It's got to go to the radiology. It's got to go to the surgeon. Everyone's got to get in on it. This is the union. Ha 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 ha. Is that true? It's 100% true. So you don't need the biopsy. So, and then what do you need to do? You need biological dentists and do some cleansing and do exactly everything I said. And I promise you, you don't have to worry about things if you do all of this. And you've got to like put the monkey on a pole. Put the monkey on a pole. And use the monkey when you need it. You know, like to get out to your car. All right. To make your shopping list, whatever. But then put the monkey on a pole. Otherwise, the monkey will go. But you all know that, right? All right. So now, don't worry. It was in your stomach, in your. All right, so Angnese, what dose I need to take ivermectin fenben if I want to cleanse parasites? How much milligram per kilogram for kids and for adults? And which binder? Please, I need answer as there is no much information. There is. You guys, these are the kinds of questions you ask for ChatGPT. or Google. Just say milligrams per kilogram for children, and they'll tell you. But by what I'm interested in, you can find out this. What for an adults, it's really normal sized adult. It's pretty standard, ivermectin, fenbendazole. Um, and I would add in the third one, like if you really want to do a parasite cleanse. If you know you have parasites, you've seen them, and you want to, or you just have never seen them, but you say, well, look, I'm a human and I'm on planet Earth, so I need to do that. So yeah. Uh, uh, I want to. Okay, so here, so for an adult, ivermectin 12 milligrams 3 times a day, fenbendazole 222 milligrams, 222 milligrams 3 times a day, niclosamide 500 milligrams 3 times a day. You 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks. You got to do a few cycles depending on your situation, right? And but um so I don't know. Okay. So obviously so your children too. So it's you and your children. You want to do it. Okay. So remember, these are safe because we know, I mean, they've been used for eons. Because think about this. There are children all over the world in areas where they have onchocerciasis, which is river blindness. And they're on it. They've been on ivermectin for years. Right? So, in fact, there's about 250 million people in the world with onchocerciasis, river blindness, who are on ivermectin chronically. All right, so that's pretty much very. I think that's a good clinical trial there, and fenbendazole, mebendazole, albendazole, all the benzimidazoles are being used widely for long periods of time. The thing you have to be careful of with all of these antiparasitic medications is that they require the liver to be metabolized. And so it's not that they're toxic to the liver, it's that they're when you've got several of them and you're doing it a lot, the liver is working real hard and your enzymes start to go. And that's why we do 3 weeks on and 1 week off. Now, there's nothing magic about those numbers. It could be 2 weeks on and 1 week off. It could be 4 weeks on and 2 weeks off, or 4 weeks on and 1 week off, or, it doesn't matter, whatever fits you. And you want to also take an antiprotozoal, such as nitazoxanide. And if you're an adult, that's 500 3 times a day. And maybe fluconazole, which is an antifungal, which is 100 milligrams twice a day for an adult. So for the children's dosages in the per kilo, just look. It's very easy. Go to the CIA, Google. Go to Brave. Go to any of them and just put in dosage per kilogram for children. I'll tell you exactly. All right. So that's very important to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and now you need to always check: do you already have? If your liver enzymes are already up, right? If you have a liver that's sick, that's a whole. Hey, cool, Brad. It'll be you'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. There's a lot of information, and that's very important. It's going to help you do a fast at home with confidence. That's back to the parasites. I forgot what I was saying, but the point is this: you want to, if you want to get the worms, the protozoa, and fungi. And funguses, are there for a purpose. They're there to clean up stuff. Anyway, just this protocol does work. Uh, but as I said, it needs to be adjusted for every individual. All right. And if you've already got pre-existing elevated enzymes, then what we need to do is we need to look at what those are and then decide on a protocol that's appropriate. So, for example, if like the enzymes were like 90 or 100 or above like that, then we say, okay, well then maybe we should do uh, uh, a half the dose, or just twice a day, or once, no, twice a day, but even half the dose. Whatever it is, we'd have to figure out a way to adjust it. But you can still do it. So you got to find out. So for answer your question, please find out about your liver enzymes, and and I don't know if you have a big problem with parasites. If you do, uh, then we should talk. You should join the parasite group. Go to drlodi.com and join the parasite group, and then we can interact directly, and you'll get a lot of information about protocols and stuff. It'd be pretty cool. All right, good. I'm just reading what you guys say. Thank you so much. You're very kind, except for some people don't like me. But if you don't like me, don't come. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to come here. Anyway, uh, what does this say? There is conflicting information found on if this is the tumor eating away at the fat and muscle, or if losing mass due to not eating so much. Ileostomy. Oops. Um, all right, I don't know what the question is, but let me just say this. If someone has an ileostomy, that means there is they've put in a tube that will uh, go from the ileum out up to the body, and you'll have a bag. And that way it's bypassing the colon. So obviously, then the colon probably has CFCs or does have CFCs. So the ileostomy. Now, fortunately, the ileum is the last part of the small intestines. So all the digestion, that takes place in the duodenum, and then the absorption, which takes place in the jejunum and ileum, has already occurred. And so, I mean, if one has to have an ostomy, the ileum would be preferable, because you're, at least you've gotten all the digestion and assimilation. So now what matters is you're eating the right food. All right. And that's everything. All right. So if you have an ileostomy, um, okay, so that has nothing to do with having an ileostomy has nothing to do with whether or not the tumors are growing or not. Okay, that has to do with how you're living and all that, and if you've cleaned out all the toxins, like we discussed with everybody, you've cleaned out all of the toxins from biological dentistry to doing uh, the juice cleanses and or water fasting, and now you're eating just human food. All right, this is essential. It's essential that you do this. Right, it's like non-negotiable. Um, and that's the way to affect it. Because if you go to the hospitals and they continue to poison you, then the poison is going to cause more problems, and it always does. It increases metastasis. Right? So, um, anyway, I hope I answered your question about the ileostomy. Um, well, let's see. Um, okay. Question, Shannon. Is G6PD test good for parasite detection? No, not related. Not related. All right, Agnes, join. Yeah, join. Join. We're okay. The question here, someone's saying we're saying liver enzymes. So what I was talking about before, when I was talking about uh checking out what before you begin antiparasitics and looking at your liver enzyme, they're called ALT and AST. Okay, these are enzymes that are pretty standard blood. They're standard blood tests, and what they're basically evaluating is liver function. In fact, they're called liver function tests, LFTs. And there are a couple others in there, but the main ones are ALT and AST. If they're elevated above the normal range, then that means because they're enzymes, and that means there's spilling, uh, there's excess in your blood than there is normal. So normally there's a certain amount of it because there's a normal amount of wear and tear and spillage, into the blood. If there's an excess, that means that there's some damage done. That's it. The One second, I just need to get a glass of water. One more. Okay, so sorry. So sorry. I just had to get a glass of water because I was thirsty. I still am thirsty. Thank you. I'm sorry. Back. Uh okay, question, Brandon. Replying to Ronnie Shelton, how do you know you have candida in your lungs? Yeah, so yeah, that's a good question. Um, and this brings up a very important consideration and adds to our understanding. Um, every part of our body, every second from our nasal cavity, our outer ears, our armpits, our uh, forearm, our gut, everywhere there are billions and trillions of microorganisms that live there, and they support us. We're kind of like they're kind of like the soil in which we are growing and live. Okay, they're our soil, and uh, there's multiple species and different kinds, including candida. And candida is a fungus, and the role of funguses is to take material, stuff that is dyed, and recycle it, turn it back into goods. Like, for example, if an animal dies in the forest, uh, the insects will eat it and all that, but it'll finally get down to the place where there's just mold on fungus, and it just takes it and turns it back into healthy soil. So it's not part of the food chain. They're actually they just take dead matter and make it prepared for life again. All right. So that's the role of funguses, and we have them in us because and basically our cells are turning over, um, which is why we have a new liver every 6 months, which is why we have new rods and cones in our retinas every 48 hours, which is why we have new skin every 6 weeks, etc. And then why we have a new lining of our GI tract every 3 days, because cells are always turning over. And so when turning over means that the old cells either go through apoptosis or they die and are shed. And if that happens, then they need to be recycled. And that's what the fungus is. So they make up a percentage of our uh, healthy biome in any particular location. And so if one of them is uh, increasing proportionately, then that's because the other ones that were taking those places are not there anymore. And all organisms on the planet are where they are because there's food. They're eating. If there's no food, they leave. So if these microorganisms that were in the place where the fungus have now taken over, it means they weren't eating. So it has to do with our diets. What we eat is what they eat. We're feeding them and ourselves. But if you've got something going on in your lungs, understand that you don't just treat lungs, you treat the entire body. You still do the cleansing. Just like if you have ovarian problems or you have pancreatic problems, it's the whole body gets cleansed. That's how we approach that. So I'm not sure what's going on with your lungs. Just join the groups, we can really interact. Okay, oh, here's Shannon's. What kind of testing should we have to test for parasites? Well, the probably the best right now is it's called the UPDX, Universal Parasite Diagnosis, and diagnosis is symbolized by a D with a little X. So UPD little X. And this tests the blood and it looks at, RNA and 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 DNA. So of organisms. So it's really and it can identify many, right? Specifically, except for the species, not all the species, but at least it gets the genus. So but you can pretty much find out what's going on. And it does get some species, of course, but it'll get the genus, so you still know. Like for example, for example, uh there's in the gene panther, uh, leopard, they're all those are the species. So the genus is the next step up. And so those can be identified. And so it's called a UPDX. And that's really the best because if you're doing stool sampling or any other kind of bodily fluid other than blood for that's talking about, you're going to miss it. So even if they're doing stool testing and they're doing DNA to identify it, then you're still not getting any parasites that may be located elsewhere that are not in your gastrointestinal system. For example, do you have a um, what happened? What happened on huh? Okay, all right. Well, all the messages are gone. That's weird. Things shut down and now all the messages are gone, so I don't see them. Instagram, I'm getting messages from you guys. I mean, they're getting questions. Oh yeah. Okay, so you're saying, can you direct message me about parasite cleansing? Um, you mean on what are you on is that on what, Facebook? Is that on Facebook? Um, I think you're Facebook, right? Uh, yeah, I don't always get to that. I try to. I've got so much that I don't always get to the direct messages, and I might miss it. What? Try that. I'm gonna look today. I'll look today. Okay, and then also you can submit it for next week's questions. And who else here do we have on Instagram? Well, it's really hard to read Instagram on because it keeps unsupervised water fasts are not advised. I know they're not advised. All right, who's going to supervise it? There's a lot of fasting experts out there who've, well, how long you been doing it? So the reason my book is going down is so I can get rid of all this nonsense. Guys, who's this? This is Origins and Wellness. Oh, you want people to go to your clinic, right? Is that what you want? You're going to supervise it? Okay, I agree. Especially if someone's got a and I go through that. Believe me, I have in there is uh absolute contraindications to fasting and relative interact contraindications to fasting. And you should always have some help. But I'm going to tell you something. Wellness, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that Moses did not have any medical supervision. I don't know, it's just yes. And Jesus, I don't think they were did that. Um, and fasting's been going on for, in fact, before Sumeria, which was 2,000 years before Egypt, which is before Greece and Rome. It's been going on. As long as people have been eating, they've been fasting. And animals fast all the time. So this is the modern Rockefeller, keep our patients coming in rhetoric. Prolonged fasting is quite an ordeal, and it needs to be very carefully monitored with someone somehow. But anyway, okay, so uh, uh, can water fasting have any impact on in terms of lowering high HDL cholesterol levels? I'm asking this. I am aware it's not as simple as that. Well, okay, so high LDL levels. Understand that the levels and the reference ranges for cholesterol and its derivatives, LDL, HDL, and VDL, DDL, DL, are have been changing over the years. And triglycerides, they've been changing over the years. So what was high before? So in other words, the whole cholesterol thing is very confusing anyway. Especially since cholesterol is vital. Not only is it vital to for making our sex hormones, like testosterone, estrogen, otherwise we wouldn't even all be here, and cortisol, so we can deal with standing up, so any kind of stresses in life, and vitamin D, and a bile, makes bile, um, and but in addition to that, cholesterol is necessary. It protects us. It's in our cell membranes. It protects us from being oxidized, and it goes on and on and on and on. Very, very important. And LDL is the delivery from the liver to the periphery, and the HDL is bringing it back to the liver. And so the question is, if my LDL is indeed high, is it oxidized or not? Because if it's not oxidized, it won't cause a problem. It's got to be oxidized. So we got to be looking at that. But the answer is that water fasting will have an impact on everything, including lowering LDL. Absolutely. It rebalances, resets the body. It does. And it resets every aspect of our physiology. It's incredible what it does. And I go through that in the book. So I think you'll be, be more informed. My goal is just to inform everyone about what's really going on. And I hear my 9-year-old son has triglycerides 3 times higher than normal. He's on a healthy diet. What could be done? So, excuse me. Oh, sorry. I am. So what I would like when you say he's on a healthy diet, I'm not sure what that means. And so it's just his height, it's just his triglycerides. Is that it? See, that's why what's really good is for us to have interactions, because it's hard. Like I would ask you, I would like to ask you, many questions. Okay. So, anyway, um, yeah, you know, if we're looking at triglycerides, remember triglycerides are made from glucose being stored. They're not made from fat. All right. So if someone has high triglycerides, regardless of their age, it's because of the way their body is handling insulin and glucose, right? So what they're finding is that um, juice, soda, sports drinks, breakfast food, bread, pasta, crackers, which are considered, and even what they consider healthy snacks. So if glucose rises, insulin rises, and the liver converts the glucose to triglycerides. So that's the pattern. That's how it happens. Uh, so what would happen in that case is that you would see the high triglycerides and the HDL, right, would be low. The HDL is the one you supposedly want to have high. And so even in children, they call that condition atherogenic dyslipidemia, which is just a descriptive term of what's happening. It can cause atheromas, little plaques in the artery. All right. And the other thing is sedentary behavior. So if he's having those snacks or she's having those snacks and the sedentary behavior or anything like that, then yeah, that's it. Now there are some, there's familial hypertriglyceridemia, um, uh, right? Or what is it? Familial combined hyperlipidemia, right? These are the things, and those are triglycerides that are very high, like over 300 or 500 milligrams per deciliter. So I'm not sure how high we're talking about here with your 9-year-old, right? And then we've got to look at also, in addition to that, thyroid. So I'm not sure. I mean, even excess fructose, which is in everything, this modified fructose corn syrup is in everything. So your situation with your son or your daughter that's 9 years old, really join the health and healing group, okay? And let's talk. I mean, I need to know more about what's going on specifically in your situation so I can help you with it. Because you really would like to correct this before, because especially at that age. All right. Anyway, uh yeah, join the health and healing so we can talk about this, okay? I would like to see how high the triglycerides are and talk about diet and stuff like that, okay? All right, everybody. 9 o'clock in 9:02 in Southeast Asia here. So anyway, Sawadee Kap, Namaste. See you next week.